Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking to you guys about property investing after the coronavirus. So as I'm sure that many of you will be aware of by now, house prices have definitely dropped. But are you aware of the fact that coronavirus is also having an impact on desirable properties as well as the types of properties that people are looking at? Well, if you didn't know, you'll definitely want to tune into this video because I've got loads to tell you. Right, so during these times I've been doing a lot of reading and research on property. If there's one thing that I'm sure about, it's definitely that as a property investor or somebody that's looking to get into property, you will definitely want to reassess your approach in identifying a good investment property and building up your portfolio if that is something you're also interested in doing. Right, so in this video I'm just going to talk you through exactly what you do need to be aware of if you're looking to buy an investment property or buy a property in general following COVID-19. Right, first things first, reduced house prices. So you probably are already aware, and if you weren't, now you know, okay? I know for a fact based on experience that house prices have dropped by at least 5%. How do I know that? Well, I know that because we were previously looking for a house prior to the coronavirus around December, January times, and at that time the prices that we were seeing for similar properties that are available now is not what it was back then, okay? Properties that were essentially £300,000 back in December, January times are now around 280, 285. So prices have definitely dropped, and I've seen that for myself. And if you don't want to take my word for it, I'm going to link down some resources down in the description box, linking you to other resources, articles, blog posts, telling you exactly about house price predictions and how house prices have fallen. Those that have predicted house price reductions include Lloyds Bank, who predicted a 5% fall in house prices. You've got Savills Estate Agent, who predicted 7% or 7.5% reduction in house prices. And then you've got the Bank of England, who are predicting as high as a 16% reduction in house prices, okay? So it's definitely there. And if it's not there right now, we are getting to a place where definitely house prices are being reduced all across the country due to the impact of the coronavirus. Now, what does that mean for you? So whether you're an investor and you're looking to get property to rent out or buy and flip, or whatever your property technique may be, or whether you're interested in just getting a property for yourself for you to move into, whether it's your first home, second home or other, you definitely want to capitalize on this, okay? Make the most of these reduced house prices. Now, coming back to investors, I've actually had a few people approach me in terms of asking my opinion on whether they should buy an investment property now or wait until later for further price reductions. And my advice simply is that I cannot be the one to tell you where to put your money. But one thing I do emphasize, and which is what I'm telling people, is that look, we are seeing at least 5% in reduction. So that means if you would have bought a house prior to the coronavirus, you would have spent at least 5% more on that property. So if you're to buy the property now, you've already saved money. So for me, I don't think it's a bad idea to go in and invest in property right at this point. Yeah, prices may reduce further, but it doesn't mean you're at a loss, okay? You can wait for prices to reduce, but what if again prices don't reduce any further and actually they start to go up again? What if by that time the economy starts to bounce back or do better? Do you get what I mean? Nobody really knows where this thing is going to go and how long these reductions are going to last for. So what you want to do is capitalize on that right now, okay? Prices are lower. If you're an investor, this is the time for you to be looking around and looking for good investment properties for your portfolio. As well as house prices being lower, there's also the fact of mortgage rates being lower than they have been for a while. I know there's a lot of talk about mortgage products not being available and banks and lenders not being willing to give out mortgages to people, but that is not 100% true, okay? The fact of the matter is that mortgages are available and banks and lenders will give you a mortgage if basically you have at least a 15% deposit. What they're trying to avoid doing is giving mortgages to people who have a higher LTV. So basically those that have a 95% LTV, that is loan to value, okay? Because those people seem like a higher risk to them because they're borrowing them a higher amount of money with no guarantee that those people will be able to pay that money back, especially during these times whereby people are on furlough or have lost their jobs, okay? So obviously the banks and the lenders are trying to look out for themselves. So back to the point, if you know that you're somebody that has a 15% deposit or higher, you will still be able to get a mortgage during these times and the rates will be lower for you also. Right, so the next thing that you need to be aware of is a shift from big cities to more rural areas. So what does that mean? Obviously, during these times, everybody's being forced to work from home. So people are now questioning why they're spending a lot more on rent than they have to, considering they're not having to commute to anywhere. They're not having to be in the heart of London to get to work easier. And so in this situation, people are now questioning why they're spending thousands or 1,500 plus on rent each month. We no longer have to go anywhere. Everything that we're doing is from home. Therefore, there's no need to be living in the heart of London where you're having to fork out a lot much more on rent than if you're living on the outskirts of London perhaps. A lot of people are reconsidering where they're living and the location and why. So one, if you're an investor, you definitely want to look into this, and this is an advantage to you. If you're somebody that was putting off buying an investment property because perhaps you didn't want to invest outside of central London or just London generally, you might want to rethink that. Research is showing that people are moving into more rural areas, okay? There's interest elsewhere. At the end of the day, what I say is that as long as there's good transport links and people will be able to easily get to the train station if they need to commute in and out of their town, things will be fine. A lot more people are appreciating being able to live outside of London, but still being able to commute into London easy enough when they need to, especially if it means they're going to be able to get more space for themselves and live in a more comfortable home setup. Secondly, if you're looking at things from a personal point of view and you're buying the property for you to live in, again, you may want to consider areas outside of London. If you were previously looking at getting somewhere in London, you might have only been able to afford maybe a 1-bedroom flat. Whereas if you look outside of London or outside of the, the main city area, you may be able to get a 2-bedroom house. Who knows? Just explore your options. This is definitely something to take advantage of, and a lot of people may not have seen things this way if not for the pandemic. Even Rightmove have seen increased interest in more rural properties. As well as this, Savills estate agent did a survey recently and results showed that a lot more people are considering rural areas over the city than prior to the pandemic. Right, so the next thing that you need to be aware of, houses over flats. Now, due to the pandemic, a lot more people are interested in moving into a house over a flat, okay? Currently, Rightmove's most sought after properties are indeed houses over flats, and that's just because you get a lot more space in a house. As well as that, with houses, you get a garden, whereas with flats, you generally don't. You may be able to get a balcony, but in some cases, you don't even have a balcony. In a world where we're asked to stay at home, we're not asked to go into the office to work, we're asked to work from home, and everything else we're doing is more or less from home. It's nice to have outdoor space. It's nice to have a garden that you can step into when you want some fresh air and are tired of being cooped up in the house. Whereas with a flat, you generally don't have this luxury. And this is the reason why a lot more renters, a lot more buyers are looking for places with gardens. So what does that mean for you as an investor? You definitely want to be looking at houses with gardens, okay? This is what people want. So as an investor, you want to provide this. If you get a property that people are seeking after, naturally, it's going to mean that your property is likely to be filled up more times and not left vacant. And secondly, you may be able to charge more because you're providing things and the additional luxuries and wants that people now require. The final thing that I want to speak about is a home office space. Now, I've been making reference to it all throughout this video. We're all working from home nowadays, and so naturally, it's no surprise as to why people are now looking at properties that have an additional workspace or home office space, because we are now working from home, and with the way things are, we don't know how long it's going to be until we're required to physically go back to working in the office, okay? And if that's even going to happen, because realistically, if we've now been locked down and forced to work from home for the past, 3 months, then how would businesses justify having to bring in all their employees on a full-time basis into the office? Is it feasible? Are the costs worth it in terms of paying for a building? I don't know. Nobody knows how long this thing is going to last for. But what we can say is that for now, we are at home. We have been, and we probably will be for another few months. And therefore, it makes so much sense why people are looking at properties that have an office space. So whether it's an official library office space area, or whether it's an additional room that you're able to offer to people as an office space or study area or library, however you want to sell it, you just want to make sure that that is loud and clear when it comes to advertising and promoting your properties. So guys, that brings me to the end of this week's video. I do hope you have found this useful and informative. If you have enjoyed this video, please do give it a big thumbs up. Please do also subscribe if you haven't done so already. If you're a regular and you watch my videos from time to time and still haven't subscribed, please do so. It definitely helps with the YouTube algorithm, and it also lets me know that I'm on the right track in terms of producing the content that you guys want to see. So anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next week. Bye.